John 2:13 through 16 says, "When it was almost time for the Jewish Passover, Jesus went up to Jerusalem. In the temple courts, he found people selling cattle, sheep, and doves, and others that were sitting at tables exchanging money. So he made a whip out of cords, and he drove all from the temple courts, both the sheep and the cattle. And he scattered the coins of the money changers and overturned their tables. To those who sold the doves, he said, 'Get these out of here. Stop turning my Father's house into a market.'" Hi, my name is Anthony, and for too long, the church has created an image of Jesus as a passive, peacemaking, soft-spoken teacher. And if we take a dive in and a close look at the Gospels and read about the real Jesus, he was wildly different than that. He was a radical, miracle-working Savior that seemed to contradict everything that anyone ever knew or believed. And this Jesus that's in John's Gospel, that's flipping the tables of the money changers and chasing them out with a whip, it's often skipped over by most preachers because it's not really easy to tie up with a bow, because this image of an angry whip-swinging Jesus doesn't really fit our categories that we've tried to put Jesus into. And the beautiful part about it, though, is that although it doesn't make sense to us, it perfectly lines up with the nature and the will of God. Jesus is God, and anyone that reads the Old Testament can tell you that our God is not a passive, soft-spoken, peacemaking teacher that sits in a meadow just stroking a lamb. No, our God is a passionate, zealous, mighty, powerful, all-knowing, all-sufficient, and everlasting God. Our God is not a soft God, and neither is Jesus. Jesus should come with a warning label, an advisory of sorts. And Jesus was so extreme in his ministry with his miracles and his claims to be God that he made it impossible for anyone that encountered him to be confused about who he was. There was only two options. He was either God or he was a lunatic. And with his death, burial, and resurrection, he proved that he was in fact God. So knowing this, that Jesus is in fact God, then we should come to Jesus reading the advisory label, Explicit Jesus. Meaning Jesus clearly stated in detail, leaving no room for confusion or doubt, who he was. And if you encounter Jesus with that perspective, that Jesus is God, he will overturn and change your entire life. If you want to know more and take a deeper dive into just how extreme and countercultural Jesus is, then follow the link in the description to order my new book, Explicit Jesus. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Stay encouraged, stay on fire, and see what God can do through you.